Okay, and we are live, everyone. Thank you for everyone who's joined today. We're going to be talking about some of the top rewards cards that I found out there in the market. Some of this is um, some review for some content we've gone over in the past when I talked about hack your spending. But we wanted to make sure that you had all the tools that you could possibly have in thinking about making taking advantage of all the different ways you spend money. And by far the best way to spend money in my mind is with credit cards. Credit cards are a fantastic way that I make an additional about $200 a month right now. I'll show you some ways where you can even accelerate those benefits even more. Give you some other things to maybe think about when it comes to your credit cards, and some different ones to look at. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll go through some of the ones that I have specifically in my wallet, and maybe give you some ideas for some other ones to consider yourself. So the first one I have in my wallet is a Citi Double Cash card. Why I like this card is there's no annual fee, and I get 2% cash back on every single purchase. So no matter what it is, whether it's a medical bill or utility bill or buying something off of a a random website, I get 2% cash back in my pocket. So $2 for every $100 that I spend. The next one that I use quite a bit is the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. So there's also an American Express Blue Cash, and I'll explain the difference here. So the American Express Blue Cash Preferred has a $95 annual fee. You for that, you get 6% cash back on groceries, and then 3% cash back on restaurants and for gas, and then 1% cash back on every other purchases. That 6% cash back for groceries is capped at, I believe it's $12,000 for the year and spend. So you can't get any more back or spend if you spend any more past that standpoint. No, sorry, 6,000. That's 12,000, 6,000. Pardon me. I didn't look at my notes. $6,000. Once you spend that much, you get 1% cash back after that. So really, it's only advantageous to you up until you spend $6,000. After that, using that Citi cashback card would be better for you. For example, it's a great card. I have a big family. I've married and have 4 kids. So we, over the course of maybe 6 to 9 months, usually we spend that $6,000 in groceries, and then we put it in the wallet. Take it out of the money clip, put it in the wallet for me, and I don't think about it again until it's time to spend again on it. The next card is the Amazon Prime Visa card. It's awesome because you get 5% cash back at Amazon. So I know that if you're like me and our family, we have an Amazon box coming to our house probably about every other day. And so what's better than you're going to spend the money, and if it's something you're going to spend anyways, you might as well get 5% cash back on it. So that's great for no annual fee. If I hadn't mentioned that already, great card to have in your wallet. You also get 3% cash back, I believe, at restaurants, and I think 2% on gas. So another really good card. Yeah. So the next one we'll talk about here is the Target card. If you have a lady in your life, they probably like Target as much as my wife does. They're at Target quite a bit. So you might as well get a little bit of money back. You get here, you don't get cash back, but you get 5% off. You get an extra fee too, or an extra discount too if you buy something that's on clearance. No annual fee, super easy to pay off. I believe some cards you can use outside of Target too, but I don't think it's anything more than 1% back. And I don't honestly, looking at my notes, you don't get anything more than that. So really not advantageous there. Any other spending, that Citi Double Cash would be better for you. But again, another really good card. If that's what you want to use. And then probably my favorite card is the Double Cash card. My second favorite card is Costco card. So one, my family of six, we go to Costco all the time. We are definitely buying a lot there. And what's great about the Costco card is you get 2% cash back. Costco, you get 4% cash back on gas everywhere. So gas is expensive for everybody right now. So definitely, that's really a nice thing to use. Also, 3% at restaurants, um, and yeah, the only fee with it is you have to have a. It's free with a Costco membership, so you need a Costco membership, but after that, there's no other annual fee with it, and that's I believe $60 a year, so not very expensive. If you like Costco, anyways, it's really a no-brainer to use, and then 1% cash back everywhere else for that card. So that's the three that are with me all the time are um, the City Double Cash, because you can use 2% on everything. The Costco card, because I use that for gas and restaurants in Costco. And then if I haven't spent my $6,000 for the year, that American Express Blue Cash preferred. Now, let's say you don't spend as much money on groceries, for example. Um, the Blue Cash every day, you get 3% cash back on the first 6,000 groceries instead of 6%. So, you know, depending on how much you spend, maybe if you're a single person or a smaller family or a family that doesn't grocery shop at a grocery store typically, that might be a really good option for you. So something to think about. So when it comes to cash back, I always love a good hack. And there was a hack that I had showed a while back using PayPal Bill Pay to pay your credit cards with a debit card. That unfortunately has gone away, and there's seems like no path back to it. But fear not, I have figured out another hack. And another hack is using the Fold debit card, which is a cashback card with Bitcoin, and you can pay off your city cards. So the two that I mentioned above, any city card you can pay off with the Fold card. Um, to do this, you need Fold Plus, which is $10 a month, and you have to call on the phone um, to make the payment. So a little bit unfortunate that you have to call on the phone to make the payment, but I mean, if you're paying off like I am, around $3,000 a month between the two of them. It takes a couple minutes to do. Like I said, you do need Fold Plus. That is $10 a month. How I'm going to do this going forward is I'll probably stagger when I get Fold Plus. You can, um, and I'll probably get it 6 times a year, every other month, and just make my credit card payments in that time period, so that I don't have to, pay $120 a year. I can pay $60 a year. Um, if you don't want to have to worry about that, I think you can get Full Plus for $100 for the year. Um, but you get an automatic 1% back in Bitcoin, then you spin the wheel and you get um, another couple percentage, or another couple like 0.01% back. Very minimal. Honestly, the full card used to be awesome from a reward standpoint. It's still good. It's just not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. Tech does take some time though, and you do have to you just need to make sure you do the steps right. So you would spend on your city card that you would normally. You need to fund your Fold card. And you have to wait for those funds to clear. So when you fund your Fold card, typically you need to account for 3 to 5 business days. So if you forget to fund your Fold card, or if you can't float that money for a few days before you pay it, probably not a good strategy for you. But if you can float that money for a week, which if your finances are in good shape, you should be able to do that. That's okay. I try not to just keep any money on there. Hold as much as possible. Just try to make sure I spend it so I don't forget about it on there. And then you have to use a phone number, like the city phone number, to just pay by. debit card. You need to pick the option to pay by debit card. There's not an option on the website to pay by debit card. You have to do it by phone. If somebody else has a better hack here, like, look, this is in this community we share. Some of our members have brought great ideas to us all the time. So just share with us. This is the best idea that I know of right now. Doesn't mean it's the best idea. This is the best idea I know of. So please share. We would love to have whatever ideas that you have, whatever ideas you have. The other thing that I want you to think about is 0% APR cards. Now you would say, David, like why think about these cards? Well, you can get a lot of interest on cash, depending on where you hold it, right? So there's a lot of savings accounts that are 4% right now. That's pretty good. There's you can get I bonds; those are like 7% right now. That's pretty good. So there's a couple of different ways to think about it. When you're comparing, like doing cashback to maybe doing something like this hack that I'll talk about here in a second, is the taxable gain that you get on it. So the really awesome thing about credit card cashback is you don't pay any taxes on it. It's just yours. It gets viewed as a rebate. Some of these strategies I'll talk about here, if you use these cards to your advantage, you'll have to pay taxes on the gains potentially, depending on how you do it. So the first card we'll talk about here is a Wells Fargo Active Cash. It is another 2% cashback card on everything, which is phenomenal. It's another one. So if you already have Wells Fargo and you want to keep all your stuff in one place, that's pretty sweet. The other thing that is pretty cool if you sign up for it is you get $200 back after you spend your first $500. So automatic, 40% cash back on that first $500, and then you can take a 0% APR for 15 months, which is pretty awesome. So let's say, for 15 months. So pretty cool, pretty cool. The next card on our list here is the Capital One Saver One. Another strong card. I believe you get 3% cash back on restaurants, which is pretty good if that's something you do a lot. And again, you get 15 months of 0% APR. So again, a very, very strong card. The next one is this Chase Sapphire Preferred. I typically don't like points cards, and and the reason is there are so many stories that out there that if you read, people save up their points for a long time. They want to buy a flight or they want to go on a trip, and when they go to use those points, the program changes. They can't cash out those rewards or those miles or whatever that they've taken a long time to accumulate, and and they just they don't end up being worth as much as they normally would. Sometimes you're really limited in how you can use those too. I would say if you want to use a points card, I would just be really specific in how you want to use it and be and really know what you're going to get. The thing that I think is really awesome about this card is you get 15 months of APR. You get 3 times points at restaurants, and then 5 times points on Chase Reward travel, and 2 times points on other travel, 1 times on everything else. But if in the first 3 months you spend $4,000, you'll get 80,000 bonus points, and for that you'll get 1,000, equivalent to about $1,000 in rewards right now. So for a pretty good deal, to spend $4,000 and get the equivalent of $1,000 in rewards, Chase Ultimate Rewards. So again, pretty sweet. Again, 15 months cash back. And then the 0% APR card that I specifically have is the Bank of America card. No points, no cash back, no fees. None of these cards I've mentioned here have any fees associated with them. But the Bank of America card, no annual fees, I should say, associated with them. You get 21 months of 0% APR. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. 21 months. So um, yeah, so let's say that you have a big purchase that you need to pay off over time. So your furnace goes out, or um, you need to buy a new car, and you need to front some cash, and you need some flexibility in your cash flow there for a little bit. Um, any or you had a big expense on your car. Uh, any of these cards would be great because you can pay it off progressively over time. But the other thing you could do is if you have, let's say, cash sitting in the bank. So I had a large amount of funds sitting in the bank. Um, my emergency fund's pretty big. I have a big family. I'm the only one that works, so we had about 40. We keep about, I don't know, around $40,000 liquid cash in the bank. Um, I bonds were a great deal there for a while. You can make 8% plus in I bonds. The thing that kind of sucks about I bonds is you can't, if you buy I bonds, you can't get at them for 12 months. So I wanted to shift a portion of that savings to I bonds, but I was like, how do I do this? Well, I use a 0% APR card. I use that Bank of America card. So back in December of 2021, I got it, and I spent all the money I could on it. Um, Not like recklessly, but went ahead and pulled forward some purchases and did what I could. And I think I put maybe close to 20,000 on it. Paid off like property taxes. I did all kinds of stuff, and um, yeah, and I used the I bought a bunch of I bonds, and my thinking was, hey, like I can float this money essentially for free for 21 months, and I can put it in I bonds. I've been making, I think, on an average about 7%. So on that, $20,000 over, um, I'll get 18 months of interest. So if you take out I bonds before, I think 5 years, you have to take a, there's 3 months of the last 3 months of interest you don't get. But let's say we get 18 months of interest, that's 10% on the $20,000. That's like 2 grand. That's 2 grand for just using a card a different way, and doing things a little bit creatively. The one thing I would just want you to be careful of when you use a 0% APR card is you can do balance transfers. So that means you take a balance from one card and put it on another one, but typically that costs you 3%. So unless you're going to make up that percentage somewhere else, I would really highly advise you to not do that. Just run your numbers, make sure you know what makes sense. But that 3% can kind of add up. It can start to be fairly expensive. Great. Well, this is a short one, but thank you for everyone that joined. Um, these are just a couple cards to think about, depending on your individual situation, how you spend money, what your specific credit score is. There may be better credit cards out there for you, but these are some ones that I'd really encourage you to think about. Um, the other thing I just want to say is if you don't have a lot of credit cards, or if these are all new ones to you and you want to get started, don't don't apply for 6 or 7 credit cards all at one time. I would really advise you to get maybe one every 6 months. If you're about to make a major purchase, like buy a car or a house, I would wait until you make the major purchase so your credit score can be as high as it can, so you can get the best rate on that loan as you can. You're not going to make up that money with these credit cards. So I would advise you not to do that. But yeah, I mean, they can be great if you build up your system over time. Look at your spending, figure out where you're spending money on. You can definitely clear, a few grand a year pretty easily. With arbitraging money and putting using a 0% credit card and buying some I bonds, for example, or short-term treasuries, or even putting it in a bank account at this point. Um, and or just getting cash back on your credit cards. So, all right. So with that, I really appreciate everyone joining. Like I said again, if you have any questions about this, tag me. It's like David at Uncommon Yield in the server, um, and ask these questions in the personal finance channel, so that we can, so I can answer them for you. But CFU, have a great night. I appreciate all of you.